Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Crescent Moon by Zentangle. Now this is one that I usually reserve for my Zentangle Essentials class because it does teach one of the essential techniques, but I've added the other ones on and thought, well, I should add this one on just for good measure. So, and that way it's here because it is a tangle and it's a fun one to do. All right. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to do my four corners. So we'll pretend this is a section. And, it's a little bit dark. Usually we do the pencil lines light. And yeah, I'm gonna do it in this square format. So what one would normally do is you do your four corners, your border, you add in your string, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you should join me sometime for my Zentangle Essentials class, because we explain that in depth, and the other there's 8 steps total in the Zentangle method. In the method, so there's more to Zentangle than just doing these cool patterns. All right, so whatever space that you have that you want to fill in with Crescent Moon, this is our first step. So we're going to, around the edge of, again, whatever section you're doing, I'm going to put some little bumps here, like this. And I kind of, I'm using a micron pen. I kind of think of it as like kind of about a cap size. It could be like, fingernail size. I guess it depends on how big your fingers are. It doesn't matter, the size. We don't want them too small. And then we're just going around the edge and separating them a little bit. It's just one of those things, it's completely up to you. Now normally, when I do this in a class, I will do the fill-in part with the 01. But for today, I'm going to use my graphic one, and actually I'm going to outline the other. So the next step is that we fill this one in. And like I said, a lot of times what I do is kind of trace over whatever that, the string or the border line. So I get that shape in there. And then color it. And actually, since I'm using a thicker pen, sometimes also what I'll do when I'm using a thicker pen is kind of outline the inside. So that way I don't end up accidentally going outside of those lines and creating a problem for myself. Now, let me mention this while I'm filling this in. There's no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle. If this is the first video of mine that you're watching, or the first Zentangle video, that is one of our key philosophies, is that there's no such thing as a mistake. So I call them course corrections, because there's ways to adjust your tangle if you've done something that you're just not happy with. There's ways to fix it. And one of the key ways is this fill-in. So for instance, like this one is kind of smaller than the other. So I'm going to fill it in. And as I'm looking at it, I could say, oh, you know what? I think I'd like this one to be just a smidge bigger. And maybe I'm going to shift it over this way a little bit. So because we filled in, I can kind of go outside of that. And I was like, well, I can just make a new little section there. And it's like, oh, well, I think I want it to be a little bit more round. There we go. More gumdrop-ish. And that's the beauty of the fill-in, is being able to adjust. So know that that is one of your key tools if you want, or if you need to adjust something that you're just not happy with. All right. So as those are all filled in, our next step is we're going to aura all of these. So an aura is basically an outline. And so I'm just taking my 01 pen and, outlining that. And then we're going to do each one. So just working my way around. And actually, I didn't think about this till now. This is really, I'm glad that I'm doing this, because sometimes when I'm teaching this in a class, whether it's live in person or live online, there's a point where And actually, I think it's going to, well, yeah, it's going to come up right here. And a lot of times I rush to get to a place where I can demonstrate the what I call the bouncing technique. Because what we're going to do is we're going to continue to aura, one after the other, keep going around in order, whatever order you started with, and in adding a level of aura to that. But sometimes you get to where, like, well, you know what, I can't get down to this string line here, but with 2 lines, so that so it would look good. I mean, I think I could fit 1, but that's not what I want to do. So here's what I'm going to do is, if you watch, so I'm doing an aura. I was like, oh, okay, nope, I'm not going to get 2 through there, so I'm going to stop. I'm turning my tile, and I'm going to aura. Then I'm shifting my aura to this one, so I kind of bounce in that corner, because that's what it feels like. And then, oh, I can make it to that string line. Okay, perfect. And then, it's just keep going around, and then when you find one of those places, like I have right here, it's like, oh, so let's bounce over that one. And then we can make it down here. And we just, like I said, you keep going around and around until you have no more room. And then at some point, it just becomes kind of a continuous line in the center. And it's just really fun. And every time you do it, it comes out a little bit different, because your spacing is going to be a little bit different. See, that one I can kind of, I'll go closer like that. But yeah, you just get to make the decision on, well, what do I want that to do? And then, so this is what's fun. So it's like I've kind of gone all the way around, and sometimes I'll end up with, a complete thing where like as if this ended here, and then I would do another one and another one, where it's kind of it's not really a circle, but a complete, whatever we want to call it. But what's happened here is what usually ends up happening to me, and that is, so I start here, and it's kind of like a funny spiral. So it's almost, one continuous line that keeps going all the way around, bouncing in between these, crescent moons. And again, we just keep going, and then I'm working to keep the same distance. Sometimes it doesn't work. And so going nice and slow helps with keeping the string line nice, or string line, with your pen line, nice and solid. And then, sometimes there's a point where you get to where it's like, yep, I don't really need to keep turning the tile, because I can just do like this. And there we go. And so then I end it right on itself. Now, the what to do about, things like this, where you have this corner, and it's like, oh, I don't want to leave that empty, or, have a gap there. So I'm just going to aura from the other side like that and just fill that up. And here, this one will just have a little bit of a V. And so it all depends on, what you end up with. Like so. And that fits pretty good. Now, there's always several ways that you can shade this. We'll do the one that I like to do the best, which is I'm going to put some graphite here in between these. There's no need to put it in, or on the black part. All right, and we'll see if I added enough, because what I like to do, there we go, is, so I'm going to bring that graphite out. Personally, I like to kind of have it just barely go over top of, or be even with the bumps. Again, it's just me. It's how I like it to look. And it just creates some interesting depth when we just do that outside. Yeah, see, it was like, here's kind of what Hanson. So because I have put the graphite here, then I end up with a bump here instead of it being smooth. I kind of like it to be all the way around, so I kind of work to even that out just a smidge. And again, that's just me. You could do something different. But so that's essentially how we have it. But I want to share one other way that you could add some graphite to this, just because this one is like I think I have enough room. Is what some people have done is kind of put some graphite on these points. So we're like what I'm calling the bouncy points, and just adding a little bit of graphite to those. Just it adds some interesting other dimension to this. And it was one of those, you don't have to do that outside. You could just do this if you want. It just depends on what you feel like doing with your tangle. And let's see. Do I need to, actually it's kind of interesting not even to smudge the graphite, but I'm going to, so you can kind of take a look at what that looks like without it. I'm just going to lightly, and I use the woodless graphite pencil because it seems like it's a little bit lighter than just like a regular number 2. Otherwise, I just use like the little golf pencil type of thing. But yeah, and spreading it out a little bit, it makes it curve a little bit, and so that's just really neat. So anyway, there we have Crescent Moon. And if you enjoyed this video, would love to have a thumbs up from you. And if you liked it enough and want to see more and you're not subscribed yet, would love to have you subscribe to the channel. Click the subscribe button and then also click next to it the little bell, so that way you can decide how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. A lot of times I don't like to be notified, so I just subscribe. And then I noticed I was getting some pop-ups on my phone, and I'm like, oh, okay, well now I'm going to go hit the bell so that way I can say, no, I don't want to be notified. Then I usually just, when I go to YouTube, all of the subscriptions that have new content pop to the top of the subscription list, and there I go. So just a little face or YouTube tip. In the description box or description section, I will have a link to my step out for this, as well as ways to connect with me if you want to. If you're really enjoying Zentangle and you haven't joined up with us yet, I have a nice Facebook group going called the Tangle Addicts Community, and so focusing in on the classes that I teach, and as well as these quickies, and just having fun sharing the work that we're doing with Zentangle, and it's really a lot of fun. So also class information is on my website, link there of course as well. I do some free and some that have a fee. And I also have a club that I recently started where it's one fee a month, kind of like a flat fee. And right now it's in the beginning stages, so I'm taking founding members, and at a lower price than I would charge when it's all complete. And those founding members will stay founding members forever, as long as they maintain their membership. So check that out if you're interested. Would love to have you. Again, we have a really nice community, and creative and supportive, and it's just wonderful. So with that, thanks for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.